Coming up tonight on YCU, could the man shot down by police in Walpole have connections to the armed robberies in Lebanon? Construction begins this month on the I-91 bridge in Windsor. And meet John Clayton, the Vice President of Communications at the New Hampshire Hospital Association. With more news and weather, stay tuned. It's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Hello and welcome to YCU. I'm David Carmichael. Authorities are investigating whether a New Hampshire man who was shot dead after a Vermont robbery may have been connected to similar robberies in Lebanon. Detectives with the Lebanon Police Department are investigating whether 51-year-old Larry Bonahan of Grafton could have been involved in the armed robberies at the Little Store and the Family Dollar last month. Bonahan was shot and killed by police on Friday after allegedly robbing an office supply store in Bellows Falls, Vermont at gunpoint and leading police on a high-speed chase that ended with the truck he was driving crashed in Walpole. Bonahan died from gunshot wounds to the head, chest, and abdomen. It is unknown whether Bonahan fired back at police when he was killed. A New Jersey teenager is behind bars, charged with selling heroin in the Springfield area. Police say 16-year-old Matthew Frangos was pulled over by police early Wednesday morning for a traffic stop. Police say one of their drug dogs alerted them and found 50 bags of heroin stuffed in his pants. He's being held for lack of $100,000 bail and also faces drug dealing charges at a school in his home state. Goshen police responded to a violent home invasion on Badger Road in Goshen last night shortly after 6 p.m. Police officer Steve Lampson responded and requested backup from Sunapee and Newport police departments. Christopher Jackson allegedly went into the residence and threatened somebody and damaged vehicles and broke windows. Jackson was arrested for threatening with a deadly weapon and criminal mischief. He's being held on $2,500 cash bail. Motorists who travel on I-91 through Windsor will likely be experiencing some slowdowns. The highway will be narrowing down to a single lane in each direction as construction begins this month to replace the bridge that crosses over Route 44. The new bridge will last for nearly 100 years and should be completed sometime in 2014. A 7-year-old girl from Boscawen is raising money for cancer research. Olivia LaCaze said that she wanted to help people with cancer any way that she could and is now using her love of making bracelets as a way to give back. She's been making bracelets since late last year and been selling them for $1 each. All the money goes towards cancer research. She was inspired to make the bracelets by her neighbor, Donna Boudreas, who's been a breast cancer survivor. So far, she's raised more than $800 and has no plans to stop anytime soon. A group of Vermont doctors is complaining that the redesign of the healthcare financing system being developed by the Green Mountain Care Board will end the private practice of medicine in the state. The group, Vermonters for Healthcare Freedom, organized a news conference yesterday in Montpelier. The impact of sequestration on the Vermont National Guard has been scaled back. The furlough date for Guard technicians was pushed back from April to June, which means instead of a 20% pay cut, the 500 or so Vermont employees whose paychecks will be affected will now only see a 5% pay decrease. Instead of one furlough date per week for 22 weeks, employees will likely be told not to come into work 2 times per pay period for 7 weeks. A new report ranks Vermont as the state with the 4th highest taxes. The Tax Foundation's annual ranking of best and worst states knocks Vermont for having the 3rd highest property taxes, 4th highest income taxes, and 8th highest corporate taxes in the country. Vermont's number 4 ranking is not the worst in our region. New York scores as the state with the worst tax climate. New Hampshire is at the other end of the scale, coming in 44th. Governor Peter Shumlin and his now ex-wife Deb say their divorce has now been finalized. In a statement released yesterday by the governor's office, Shumlin said that their divorce was finalized last month in Windham County Family Court. They have been separated now for several years. After the break, meet Peter Ramsey from the New Hampshire Travel Council.
The YCU News continues in a moment.